Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adobe Live. I am here with Ramzy Masri, and he is here to focus on digital imaging, Photoshop focused, for this next 2 days. I'm your host, Kristine Arth, and we're going to have an amazing show. So let's take a look at the lineup for this week. Today, we've got Ramzy here. We will be doing some Photoshop sharing pro tips for using brushes, textures, and paint tools to edit your photos. At 11:30, we'll be here with the daily creative challenges for XD with Andrea Hawk. And then at noon, we'll be back on Adobe Live, designed for any screen with Julie Sandusky. And then at 2 p.m., Adobe Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge with Andrew Hockrattle. So it's going to be a great day. Stick with us. And welcome, everybody. So Ramzy, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're from New York, and you're also working at Nickelodeon, which is super cool. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I live in New York. It's really nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I live in Photoshop. It's my favorite.
Oh, I love that
platform.
That's a neighborhood in New York,
right?
You're like, I live in Illustrator, San Francisco. Nice to meet you.
If it was a neighborhood anywhere, it would be here.
Yeah,
right?
Totally, right? Yeah, it would be a neighborhood here.
Yeah,
completely.
But no, I mean, I love creating just anything based on photography, digital imaging. I've learned a lot, and I've been doing it for a long time, but I still have a lot more to learn. And I love making work about my identity. So I identify as non-binary, and so all of my work is about celebrating, like, every day essentially is a Pride March to me, and it's an extension of Gilbert Baker's Pride flag that he designed in the 70s.
I love that.
And about bringing people together and discovering your inner joy and inner child, and yeah, so.
I'm with you on that. I'm believing that 100%, and especially when I look at your work. So newly up on Behance, you have put up some new projects. You want to walk us through a couple of them?
Sure. I mean,
let's take a look. Ooh, animals. We always want to go through animals.
We could start there.
I was like, let's start with animals. It's Monday.
Yeah. So it's just a bunch of different edits. These are all, some of them are photos that I've taken, some are photos other people have taken. But yeah, it's all retouching in Photoshop.
Very Lisa Frank, by the
yes,
way. I'm like obsessed.
She's a big inspiration of mine. So.
Me too.
Yeah. Or like zebra stripe gum. Do you remember that?
Zebra stripe gum, yeah.
My grandma always used to have that.
I had that when I was a kid, but it always would run out of flavor immediately. Like, you'd chew one piece and you'd have to have another, so you'd have the whole pack and it'd be gross.
Yeah, for sure.
I love animals, yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So tell us a little bit about, what you're doing and how you're creating some of these.
So it's really just using blending modes and brushes in Photoshop. So I'll paint using a Wacom directly on top of the image. Sometimes they're animated.
Love it.
I love making GIFs.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, so it's
Gay
just...
Street, I love that. You're like, I'm just going to put that in the corner.
It's a real street in New York.
You're like, it is.
Yeah. Buckingham Palace.
So good.
And I have a touch of OCD, and so it's really fun to
you can tell.
To get in there and I was
like,
in.
No one with like any sort of attention deficit couldn't do this, so this is perfect. Yeah,
it's like knitting or something.
It's very
this
is
calming.
So complex and beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow, I love these.
It's the Getty in LA.
Amazing. Gorgeous. All of them are gorgeous.
So it helps to calm my mind and then end up with something cool at the end.
It's like nice tediousness where you get to actually focus and really do something that you're proud of and love at the same time.
Yeah, and you'll see when I walk you through my process, it's not, like, the colorizing part isn't that complicated. It's just, you have to have a lot of patience to...
Totally, like something like this.
Yeah,
I could tell, like, a lot of patience to get into this because of all the bricks.
I colored, like, each brick individually.
Yeah.
But it's
you
fun
couldn't
when you...
just do that with painting over it. It's not the same. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, chat, we're here with Ramzy. You have the next 2 hours to ask him any questions that you'd like to know. Definitely say hello to us and tell us where you're from, what you're up to, and if you are also living in Photoshop. In the meantime, we'll hop over to your computer, and I'm going to say hello to a couple people out there. Great. Tanya, Savik, Jesse, Cecilia, Michelle, Ayala, Jashmani, everybody's out there. Tim Mo Beast, the Mo Best, he's here. Love you guys. So happy to see you guys back and to see some familiar faces. I saw Eric Sue out there. Logan Samuelson says, "Hi Ramzy, love you," from Logan and Jessica.
That's
Are
my
those friends of
fiance.
yours? Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, definitely have some more friends, I'm sure, be stopping in. Jordan Crawford, hello Jordan, greetings from Iowa, good to see you back. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to focus on today. I see you pulled up a photo already.
Yeah, so I've been, pulled up some photos from Adobe Stock, which is a great resource. Truthfully, I haven't really used it before this workshop.
Oh,
but
amazing.
Going through the library was really cool, and there's a lot of really great photography.
Awesome.
So I've always had this vision of, when you're walking around New York in the wintertime and there's this like steam or like fog coming up from like the sewer system. And so I had this vision of like creating sort of like an open manhole cover with like a plume or like an explosion of like rainbow fog coming out of it.
I love that.
So I pulled a couple pieces of stock photography.
Super fun.
And I'm going to compose them in Photoshop.
Oh, fun.
And then once I get the smoke in there, I'll colorize the smoke plume. So
awesome. Hello, Mohammed. Welcome. And then Savik says, lots of patience to do work like this. Amazing. Greetings from India.
Thank you.
I love how we have people joining from all over the world. It's such a diverse crowd. It's so global too. Very awesome. So yeah, tell us where you're from, say hello, ask Ramzy questions, and we'll be here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get started sort of compositing these photos. I haven't done this before, so I have, but I haven't done this specific edit.
Yeah, totally. So. You're like, I haven't done this before. I'm like, this is your first time. You're like, so I kind of live in Photoshop as of right now. I'm like, wow, you're really good for a first-time Photoshopper. People are gonna be like, man, did he do daily creative challenge? I'll be like, yes, he did, and he learned so much. Oh, hello, Michelle from the Netherlands. I was just there yesterday. Fantastic. Yes, and for those of you who are joining us from all over the world, we are here live from San Francisco today. So, oh look, we're moving a little bit. Thanks, Paco. There's a little move to the left, a little move to the right. We're just sliding over, no big deal.
We're just gonna dance the rest of the time. I hope that's okay.
There we go. We're just dancing. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
So I'm just getting these in as roughs, just to make sure that everything's gonna line up, that the perspective is right, that the composition is gonna work, and then once that's set up, I'll go in and kind of do some masking and compositing and get everything kind of figured out.
Perfect.
So
I can already see where this is going to go. I swear I'm not a prophet. I was like,
You have that energy about you.
Yeah, totally. I was like, I know where we're taking this. You did describe it completely with full vision, but I can see it too now.
I'm just trying to remember how big a manhole cover is.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's probably right.
It would depend on the street, but that one.
Probably right. Yeah.
Well, we can make it as big as we want. It's our street.
You're right.
Right?
I always forget that when I'm editing. I'm like, is this right? And then especially with my work, it's like I get to
do whatever I want.
Do whatever I want.
I guess it depends on if you want to make it look very real, which we know it is and not. But since it's in the Lisa Frank world, it could do whatever it wants.
I think these things always are more compelling when they look when the viewer's sort of oh, wait.
Slightly real. Kind of like the zebras. You're like, I could maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, there could maybe be rainbow zebras
maybe
somewhere.
Maybe they painted them.
So now I'm just going in with a really simple mask, just to get this guy in there so that I can get the opacity 100%, just to make sure it works.
Nice.
I'll maybe leave the cobblestones. No, there's no cobblestones in that street.
I love how you're like, no, that's not real.
Yeah.
There's no cobblestones there. We won't do it. Hello, Ellie from Greensboro, North Carolina. Happy to be here too. Lindsay Palmer, I see you are out there. Amazing.
Hi,
yeah,
everybody.
Savik, I would totally use a crystal ball. You're right. I'd be like, Amazing. Yeah, Eric, so many people are watching. Ramzy, you've got quite a big following today. This is exciting.
Hi, everybody.
You're like, ah!
Hello.
Oh, I better do this manhole really nice.
Well, it's just the two of us in here, so.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But it's cool to see all of you, or to hear about all of you out there. I think this is the first time that I've really done a demo like this. So it's cool to take people through, something I do in private.
Totally. You're like, I do this in private?
Yeah.
My Photoshop skills are private.
Just like jamming out to,
yeah.
Music in my bedroom.
Ooh, what do you listen to usually? Or like, what have you been listening to this week? Because for me, I listen every day, so it's hard to say usually.
I love Christmas music.
Oh my gosh, I do too. Now that it's December, it's like, yay.
Exactly. And I don't know if you've seen the Casey Musgraves Christmas special.
No.
It just came out, and I love her. I grew up in Texas, so I love country music, and it's like really cute,
nice.
country sort of style Christmas classics. But
I'm gonna have to get in on that. Oh, Amelia's asking, Ramzy, what are you using to draw on?
So this is a Wacom Mobile Studio Pro, and it's nice because you can use it just as a computer, but you can also use it as a peripheral display. So I'm using it now in tandem with my MacBook.
Cool. Nice.
So I'm just looking at the direction of this smoke, and it looks like maybe, let's get it in there, but there might be a chance that the angle's wrong.
You're like, the smoke angle could be totally off.
Yeah.
Although it's smoke, so you can like fake that.
So you guys in the chat, let us know if this looks weird, but I'm just gonna go for it.
Oh, chat will tell us. They always do.
Okay, great. Yeah, feel free to be honest this whole time. This is a collaborative experience.
Yes. Lindsay Palmer says, Ramzy, I love all your rainbows in your portfolio.
Thank you.
Every single one.
Thank you.
Lots of love.
So I'm just experimenting with blending modes right now. So I put this layer on screen, which just helps me see through like where it's gonna go, how it's gonna work. And I'm thinking it might look better, especially once we colorize it, if I desaturate it. And so I'm just looking for hue saturation. There it is.
Yeah.
And then we'll just take it all the way down.
Well, Richard Lindley says that you can always use warp for the. Yeah, if you want.
Thank you. That's a really good comment, actually.
You're like, oh yeah, I can warp it.
Yeah.
You're like, it's a warped reality anyway.
Totally. It can be whatever we want it to be.
Exactly.
Okay, and then I'm just going to put a really quick mask on this guy, just so we have, oops.
So have you heard the station for Christmas when it's Delilah? Like Delilah's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, I love that.
Delilah's a classic.
Delilah's a classic. Delilah. Oh God, she did not pay us to do that. I'm just saying, like, I absolutely love that station during Christmas only.
Same.
It's like nationwide.
Yeah, it's always playing at like, Sam's Club or...
Yes. Or, in my studio.
Oh, for sure.
During December only.
And I always marvel at like how I randomly will like end up crying
because
somebody will call in. Yeah,
it's so sad.
Be like, I just want to spend Christmas with my Nana, but
right.
she's not here.
Yeah.
And then she'll well, just conference in Nana, and here she is.
Yeah.
And then I'm bawling
for
like, no reason.
What? Yeah, totally.
No, I love Delilah.
I do too. Oh, it looks like we've got the chat and win countdown up there. So you guys know the drill. If you're in chat, you are able to win. So all you have to do is be present in the chat, say something, anything. Something nice is usually best. But you will be able to win a $30 digital gift card to moo.com. So it's kind of worth being in chat today. That's a pretty good giveaway. Oh, yeah.
So again, just really, really quick and dirty mask on this, but just trying to make sure everything's going to work out in terms of compositing. And then I'll go in.
Check this out first. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I always get like really intense about my masks, and I know that there are easier ways of doing things, but I am always the girl that gets in there and is like, okay, I'm just gonna like follow the contour. Of this,
totally.
Perfectly. But I will spare you guys that for now because that's not fun to watch.
Although it could be for some because, there are some other OCD people out there. We'll say like, maybe that'll be our challenge question today, OCD or not.
Right?
Yeah. I always ask a question.
So I'm just going to add a little bit of density behind this so that it starts to kind of fill out, and then we get that opacity on top of the cityscape.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll go in with some color layers after this. After I get some layers in here, just to get it kind of moving. I feel like this smoke photo might work. I might try a couple others just to see.
Mohammed says it looks promising.
Okay, thanks, Mohammed.
You're like, oh, perfect.
Okay, good.
Hey, Azetta Holland. We're cool. You're cool too, thanks. Oh, E. Yerden asks, how do you resize the pen so easily?
Oh, so there's a little
a little dial
on the stylus, or on the, what's it called?
On the board.
On the board,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, board? Board's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Like, on the board computer thing, the plastic gadget, there's a dial on it.
For sure. My process is super not linear, so I'm just gonna hop around and do a bunch of stuff.
That's the best thing. Nobody wants to see a process that's not yours.
Yeah.
They want to see your process specifically. I think it's so interesting. That's what is so great about Adobe Live and having such a wide variety of guests come in, is that everybody's process is different, even if they're achieving similar digital compliance. So the way to get to the end of one thing can be done so many different ways. It's, the journey is so important. So how you achieve that journey is so different than anyone else, even if you are trying to achieve the same result. It's endless.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to do stuff, and it's funny, like sometimes I'll post like a play-by-play in my stories, and I'll get comments from followers like, "Oh, there's so many easier ways of doing that."
Yeah, totally.
I'm like, I'm sure there are, but that's the way that I do it.
And let's make Photoshop full screen just so that everyone can see just everything out there.
How do I do that?
Think in view.
There it is.
Yeah. Full screen mode. Cool.
Got it.
Awesome. We got that.
Got it. Okay.
Oh,
I feel like this is a good one, but I want to try another one just in case.
Okay.
So we're going to pull up Bridge, where I've got my Adobe stock. And this one of the good things about smoke photos when they're black and white is they play into layer modes, like blend modes, a lot easier. So again, it's not perfect, but it might
work
a little better. So we're going to try that. And sometimes I'll layer a bunch of different photos too. So it's a different effect.
Hey Mahedi, you're new here. Welcome. Izzet is asking a question. And so is Mohammed. Where are you from originally, Ramzy?
So I'm mixed race, and my dad is from the Middle East. So I was born in Saudi Arabia, but our family is Jordanian.
Ooh.
And ethnically, we're Syrian and Egyptian.
Oh.
So kind of a mix of
what an interesting background. And then you said you grew up in Dallas, right?
I did. Well, Atlanta and Dallas.
Atlanta and Dallas. Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. What a great combination. And also a very interesting one. It's very American.
Right.
Yeah. You're like, I'm Israeli, Egyptian, Saudi Arabian, and Dallas, Atlanta.
Right. Just a bunch of different things.
Yeah, it's very American. You're like, I'm as American as they come.
Yeah.
Izzet is asking too, are there times when you get so busy that you end up not being able to be as nitpicky about certain things? And if so, what do you do when you can't be that OCD?
Oh gosh, yeah, that's a great question, because that's like the struggle of my life.
Oh yeah, totally.
I guess sometimes I'll take a break if I really need one and just not post or not create content for a while.
Yeah.
And I used to feel guilty about that, but I've found like when I come back to making again, that it's actually like better, and I feel more inspired, and I feel like more ready to do it. So yeah, I think taking breaks is really important.
Yeah.
We often, I think in the West, like confuse our worth or self-worth for our productivity.
Totally.
Which is like, sometimes like when I'm not productive, even if I have a day off, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get so much done.
100%.
And then, like, an hour in, you're like, I'm gonna get nothing done.
You're like, I did nothing today.
But that's okay, right?
Yeah. Or you got so much done, but it's not anything that is really like visually pushing you forward. It's like little things where you're like, I can't show these tasks.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, shit. Yeah. Amelia is also asking what you're using to draw on.
So it's a Wacom Mobile Studio Pro.
Mobile Studio Pro.
Yes.
Woohoo. Nice. Oh, and where the name Lobster Phone came from. Well, that's my studio, my consultancy. It came from Salvador Dali. The Lobster Phone, his amazing piece of art, his surrealist piece of art.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Yep, it's pretty good. It's a strange phone with a lobster on it, and
cool.
That's where it came from.
Gotta love
it's
the
strange. It's strange and surreal, just like branding. It's very strange and surreal.
Okay, so I just put a void where that manhole is. And then I'm going to, oops, I cloned the wrong layer. But basically going to move it, and then, oh my gosh, we're going to go back. And make it look like the manhole is kind of like popped open and has been sort of tossed to the side, because clearly the force of this vapor stream has been...
Completely.
Yeah.
It's tossed over.
Yeah.
You're like, this is gone. We're just tossing it.
She got blown off.
Yeah, she did. She'd be gone.
And again, I'm just keeping it pretty rough right now, and then once I get the staging right and I feel good about where everything is, I'll go back in and get detailed about my masks.
Ooh, yeah. Rosemary says, hello, and thank you for sharing your work. Hello,
Hi.
Rosemary.
Hello.
Thank you for watching. Doop, 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 doop. Guys, we have 7 minutes until the creative challenge, or well, no, sorry, the giveaway. So chat and win. I was like, it's kind of a challenge. All you have to do though is be in chat to win a $30 digital gift card to moo.com. So get in chat, say hello, tell us something about yourself, tell us where you're from, if you're working in Photoshop, or ask Ramzy a question.
Okay, now, so I'm going to get in really tight because I feel like we've got, it's in a good place.
You're like, we've got the steam.
We got steam, we
Check.
got the
manhole.
The manhole
Check.
cover, cast to the side.
Yeah. Richard Lindley says, looks like a pizza.
Oh my God, now
Yum.
I want pizza.
I want pizza too. I was like, I know it's only like almost 10 a.m., but I want pizza anyway.
Well, and New York pizza's the best.
Yes, totally. They're like TMNT.
Right?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Love it.
Oh my God. Maybe that'll inform the caption for this piece.
Ooh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got a non-binary member.
Yes. Hey, Kerwin, welcome back. Good to see you in chat. Jesse D, what's up? Chamso. He's like, hi, awesome work.
Thank you.
You're like, yeah, I'm doing it.
Oh, shoot.
You're like, wait, where'd that go?
It's because I'm editing
yes.
the shape.
Paco,
so
Leonardo was your go-to turtle. I liked Raphael, I think. Raphael was my favorite. But I also love the letter R, so.
They were all pretty rad.
They were all pretty rad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They all
Raphael was rad.
ate pizza and didn't have to do homework, so.
Yeah, they didn't do homework. They ate pizza. They got to like do ninja stuff.
Yeah, what's not to love?
Yeah, what's not to love? I wish I could be a turtle with a ninja repertoire. Oh, your brother was Raphael? Yeah, totally. Paco's twin. Paco has a twin.
Really?
By the way, yeah.
Identical?
Identical.
That's
Except for the
amazing.
fact that one of them likes Leonardo and the other one likes Raphael is TMNT. Other than that, they're identical. Happy Monday, Kelly. How are you? Thank you for joining. And Husmo, hi, hi, hi. Savik is asking, how do you get new ideas and how do you know it's going to work?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I feel like a lot of it just comes from, like, I love to go on walks in New York, and I love to live in my imagination too. And so I feel like a lot of the times, like, I'll be on a walk and I'll see something like fog coming out of the sewer or something, and I'll think to myself, like, oh, it'd be really cool if that was like colorful and you know, had a different energy to it.
Totally.
And so it just comes from sort of being dreamy and, you know, living in my imagination.
I like that. I think that's the only way that you can find your own originality, you know?
Yeah.
Trusting your imagination.
Totally. And I was at the 99U conference this year.
Oh yeah, how did you like it?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah. It was in New York, yeah?
Yes.
Perfect.
And Ashley C. Ford was a speaker, and she's so smart. And her talk was all about imagination and how, like, that is the key, like the secret ingredient for creativity. And it's so true. Because I think, you know, as kids, like, we live in our imaginations all the time.
Totally,
just, like,
and it's brilliant.
playing and, like, sort of, you know, just having fun without worrying about, like, real world implications. And yeah, I feel like that's what my work is all about. It's just like, why not, you know?
Why not?
People ask why, and it's always the right answer for me is like, well, I don't know.
Totally.
Why not?
Why not? And it makes people smile. and makes them happy. Like immediately when I saw the zebras, I was like, Lisa Frank. I was
Right.
like, I feel like a kid again. I want stickers and a trapper keeper.
Exactly. Well, and I was like a little, boy in the closet in the South, like, oh my God, I want that folder. Yeah. I want that, but I have to like pretend
You're like,
that
I have to pretend to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I mean, I did like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Who didn't? I loved them.
Not the action figures as much.
Yeah, they were kind of grotesque. They were really hard.
Yeah. No, they're not as fun.
No, they're
or
not.
as fabulous.
No.
So I'm just going in now and adding some detail so it looks like the manhole has some depth. So I'm just adding a contact shadow on the ground, and then I'm going to go in and kind of add just a little bit of lighting on the sides. So I'm just going to sample some of the colors that are already there to do that. And Photoshop's brushes make it really easy to control both the size and the hardness. So for something like this, I'm going to use like a very soft brush just so that it, as you can see, has like a really nice...
Oh, and that's what a couple people were asking, like, how do you make it look realistic? How do you put shadows on it? And you're doing that right now.
Yeah, I think one of the things I always say is like, use as much that's in the photo as you can, because like there's already like if you zoom in and see these pixels, there's so many wonderful colors in here to pick from. And so to make something look real, you just pick the stuff that's already there.
Exactly.
Right?
Totally.
To find the shadow, finding the shadow is about finding the light source. And so this guy looks like he's lit from behind because there's strong lighting back here. And then if we look at the photo, I chose these two together because if we get rid of the smoke for a second, it looks like you can see the light.
Down.
The light is coming from this direction. And so that kind of keeps the elements in the scene agreeing with each other.
Yep.
And helps to keep that like realism, really going. So this is starting to look pretty good. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of noise. So that's another thing. If you look at this photo, it's blurred a little bit, but then the parts that are in focus, if you zoom in, have kind of like a grain on them. And that's just coming from when you take a photo, that just happens naturally. So if you overbrush stuff in the scene, it tends to look really fake.
Totally.
And so the best way to like give it some depth and make it feel real is to add just a little bit of noise. And so I'm gonna change it. I usually just experiment with these, but I think monochromatic looks the best. And then I'll just add like a pinch of it.
Nice.
It just kind of gives it.
Just enough to mess it up.
And then this little dialogue is handy too, because you can look at it.
Just see what it looks like in preview mode.
Right, as like an isolated element, which is nice because when it's in the scene like this, sometimes you're like, oh my God, I can't see anything.
You're like, it's really small.
Yeah.
Michael Fox says, awesome work. Anastasia says, hello.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Thanks for tuning in.
And Savik says, great tips on lighting. Oh, and it's the countdown. So let's just say, who's OCD and who's not? Tell us. And we're back. So we've got a little bit of time before we decide who the winner is. The chat bot will tell us. So Ramzy, tell me, what's your favorite destination in the world?
Oh gosh, that's such a hard question because I love to travel.
I knew it.
I don't know. So I turned 30 last year, or was it 2 years ago? A little bit ago.
You're like, I had a birthday.
I had like a destination birthday, which was really fun. I grew up in Texas, so I took a bunch of my friends to Marfa, Texas, which is
cool, yeah.
out in the desert.
Yeah, and it's like the design capital of Texas.
Totally. It's like everything there is so beautifully designed. I love it. Like the energy there is really unique and special, and everything is so minimal and beautiful. And as a Texan, I love being out there. It's like wide open spaces, like, lots to see and do, and really great art.
Absolutely. So we do have a winner. You want to say who?
Tanja Langner? Did I say that correctly?
Langner. You won a $30 digital gift card to moo.com. Congratulations. But if you didn't win, which only Tanya did, you also can go to moo.com/Adobe Live, and you'll get 15% off of your order. So definitely check it out. It's worth it. And congratulations, Tanya. Yay.
Congrats.
What a lucky lady. She's like, yay.
Yay. Okay, so I'm going in and just trying to, I need to probably label some of these layers. I always forget to do that.
Ooh, I do it afterwards too.
I know.
I'm always like, oh, look, I was so good. I did this the whole time. And I was like, I didn't do any of that. I'm the worst. Oh,
So,
Dama's asking, what is your favorite Nickelodeon show at the moment?
Oh gosh. We just launched a new show called The Casa Grandes, which is really great. It's a spinoff of The Loud House, which is like cell-frame animation. The Loud House is basically the story of this boy who has like 9 or 10 sisters.
Whoa.
And it's like one boy in the house.
Whoa.
And then the Casa Grandes, they have a friend who's Hispanic. And so it's the story of their house. They also have like 10 or 11 kids.
Wow.
So
some big Catholic families.
Totally. Yeah, but it's cool, like diversity and inclusion is a big part of our mission at Nickelodeon. And so telling a story about Hispanic, Mexican immigrants is, I think, at this time,
it also sounds fun with all those kids.
Oh, yeah.
How fun.
And they're all really cute and have different personalities, and it's great.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely. Well, for those of you who are just joining us, we are here with Ramzy Masri, and he is focusing on digital imaging with Photoshop, specifically looking at how to bring an image to life using brushes, pro tips and tricks, textures, and editing photos. So stick with us today. We've got another hour and a half for this show segment, and we will be on back tomorrow as well. But for those of you who are joining us today, we have a portfolio submission. So if you go to the right side of your screen, you can check out the portfolio review, and all of the info that you need to submit your portfolio is right there. We have about just under an hour for you to submit your portfolio, and then Ramzy will take a look and give you some constructive feedback. So what a great opportunity. Definitely submit it. I'm excited to see how many people submit and to see who we get.
Same.
It's always fun to see other designers' work and be able to, really get to see the background of what they're doing and who they are. It's a great opportunity for them too.
Sorry, I'm just getting organized.
Oh yeah, get organized.
I feel like I know what I'm doing again, so I'm just gonna get back in there. I'm gonna add, let's see, a little sort of highlight along this rim here, just so we have, again, that illusion of depth. Let's see if we can get that going. Oh.
E. Yerden said, thanks so much. This was his first lesson. Very cool.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Super awesome.
Okay, so I can probably also start to clean up this part too. And I could just leave the ellipse like floating in there, but I feel like having this stock underneath like gives it, again, like some realism, a little bit more depth. So I'll go in and fix the lighting afterwards.
Amazing. So who else is working in Photoshop out there right now at the same time as we are? Curious to know. And I noticed there was a lot of OCD people out there when we were doing the chat room.
Oh.
I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of OCD people out there. I was like, me too.
I feel like I love working in Photoshop because it's a way to channel that.
Yeah.
To like something creative and like fun, versus like other ways of doing it, which we won't get into, but aren't as fun,
I was like, well, I don't know about you, but I definitely feel that way in Illustrator. I'm OCD about everything.
Yeah.
I'm not pixel perfect, but I'm OCD. There's a difference to me. It's like the attention to detail. It doesn't have to be pixel perfect. It's your specific detail.
Totally.
Exactly. Oh, hey, Huxel, how are you? Welcome back. Ooh, lots of people working in Photoshop. Cecilia, Kerwin, Mohammed, Kerwin again, Tanya, Jordan. Oh, Timo Beast is fully focused on the stream. What a great attendant. like, I can't work on anything. I'm only watching you, Ramzy. Me too.
So I'm leaving a couple of these cobblestones in there because I feel like it actually gives the scene a little bit of depth. And the only thing that was wrong with this photo when I was looking for it was that, as you can see, the foreground's a little blurry. And so when we add elements in the scene that are too sharp, it might look a little fake. So leaving a couple of those in there just gives it some character.
Totally.
And anyone who's been to New York knows the streets, it's like they're cobblestone and then paved over and then paved over again.
Like, yeah.
So
it's kind of real with the little bit of cobble left in.
Yeah, I know I said earlier.
So you're like,
there's
this
no
isn't a cobbled street. You're like, it's kind of cobbled now.
We get to make our own rules, you guys.
That's right. And you can also change your mind about your rules that you've already made.
Totally. I'm probably going to change my mind about this smoke like 5 times. But that's why I downloaded a bunch of pictures.
Juliana says, I want to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, that's so sweet. I want to be like you.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, let's see. So I think we're in a good place with at least getting these 2 elements somewhat of the way there. I'm not totally happy with the void that the manhole is left in the ground. So I'll probably go back in and add some more detail later, but I want to get to the good stuff for you guys who are tuning in.
Yeah, the good stuff.
The fun stuff. The color stuff.
You like the smoke stuff.
Totally. So yeah, we're going to start kind of getting that going. I feel pretty happy about this. I don't know if anyone in the chat, like, I think it was better than what we had before. I mean, granted, this is... has more depth.
I like the new smoke, too. I think it's nice.
What I'll probably do is clone in some of the... Because I like how billowy this is. I don't know. I might try both, too, because...
why not?
And whatever.
Why not? Yeah, we've got an hour.
It's 2 different styles of compositing too. So this one would just be on a blend mode, because as you can see when it's normal, it's just, a black and white photo. But then this one, I'm gonna have to really get in there and edit.
Yeah, you are. You're gonna have to get in there.
Yeah. I mean, I really like actually the quality of this photo, and I'm just gonna do a quick test just to show you guys. I always say when you're editing, when you're colorizing things, for it to not be totally white is actually better because this...
Yeah, you can get some grain that will saturate the color.
Totally.
Yeah.
This tonal depth here, I'll just show you really quickly the difference. So we're going to just, on a color mode, we're adding some pink in here. This is my favorite part. Can you tell?
Oh my God. Yeah, totally. I was like, me too. Everyone's like, colors.
It's really fun. So we're just going to add, some pink in here just to get that moving. And you can see how easily it takes on this image. Let me show you quickly what it's going to do on the other one. So
you're like, nothing.
Same process. Same process, but look at this. I'm going to choose orange here. It's really subtle, right?
Yeah, because there's no dimension or depth to pick up.
Totally. So I think the best option is probably actually the other one. But then I'm going to probably layer in some of this on top.
That little wispiness, yeah.
And probably at like a really low opacity just so it has that. And then also, I always forget
that's the steamy part.
You can add, some transparency depth in the mask.
Oh yeah, you can.
Okay, so I think
love masking.
I never know exactly what I'm doing from the
Nobody
onset,
does.
but I figure it out along the way.
I was like, let's just be real. Nobody knows what they're doing.
No, but
at any point, at any time.
But I feel like pretty happy about where that's going, layered with some of this, and I think this is gonna need to go underneath this guy here. Oops.
Oh yeah.
So I always end up breaking my masks because, as you can see, my layers are a little bit messy, but
do what you do. Oh, Isla's asking. She says she missed a step. Ramzy, what is the layer style or setting for the color layer?
Oh, so it's pretty straightforward. It's in the bottom, so it's set on normal right now. But then if you go down to this section at the bottom, there's 4 options. So color is the one I use most often. Oops, but that's the...
You're like, wrong layer.
That's that layer, but this layer is the one set on color. Cool. So I like color because it just changes the color. But hue, it's a little bit more subtle depending on the image. So you're not really affecting the saturation. It's more of the diffuse lighting around, which is helpful sometimes, but this is obviously more of a dramatic effect.
You're like, obviously, I like the full effect of color. You're like, we want all rainbow all the time.
That's my motto. But you'll notice one thing I'll show you, because that was a great question, is that when I go in with yellows, yellow, for whatever reason, kind of cancels out other colors. And a lot of times when you add it to like a darker part, so right here, you'll see that color, it's kind of a dirty looking yellow, right? And it's because that darkness versus like if we go in with green, the green is gonna be like a really rich emerald. Like, isn't that nice? Like, it's a big difference. But the yellow, like, look how gray that is. And so I always like, when I'm using yellow, to go in on top with another layer on overlay, and just to softly
lighten it up
kind
a little.
of, yeah, just to lighten it up and just to add some pop, so that we've got that really bright lemony, beautiful yellow. And then I've got my swatches over here, which I should have mentioned, but
I like how you have your pre-populated swatches. Are those your specific colors that you use for everything, and it's always the same?
Yes.
Nice.
So when I started this project, like almost 4 years ago now, I built a palette like to start with, and I've since added to it, but the palette has stayed the same. And that keeps a lot of the edits.
I can see some different pinks and some different turquoise and.
Yeah, well, so for different uses, like you need, if the image is really dark, like it helps to have like slightly less saturated pinks because they're not as like garish and neon looking.
Totally.
So I was just showing how, like, once you add that overlay layer, then it's nice to add a multiply layer on top, just so that you can add these like really rich kind of mustardy yellow sort
deepen it back up
pieces. And again, I'm just painting on top of what's already there, but it's nice to pay attention to like the highlights and the lowlights, just so that when you add, so on multiply, it sort of darkens it and adds some depth. So when I'm going in on top of photos, first I'll do the color layer, which we've seen, and then I'll go in with this overlay layer and brighten up some pieces. So if I wanted, I'll mix, some orange into this pink just to give it some depth and kind of make it feel a little more lively. And then also I love to add violet, and so I'll do that in the color layer, and that just gives the simultaneous contrast, really gives the colors, each of them some life, which I think kind of makes it feel,
it's really starting to
more interesting,
get a little bit more depth, and you can see like more of your process with this.
Yeah,
this is very cool.
This is the part that just kind of does itself.
Yeah, you're like, this part does itself. I'm like, I love it.
It
reminds me of cotton candy being spun.
Totally.
It's so yummy. Every time I fly in the plane and there's a clear sky and there's a lot of clouds outside, I always used to imagine when I was a kid that it would be cotton candy out there.
Oh my God, I love that.
And all I'd want to do is like open my plane window. It was like one of those like tension fears where I'm like, could I do it? And if I do it, will we all die? Or will it really be cotton candy? I don't know.
Well, you might have inspired another piece of mine, so.
Yeah, I still think that whenever I look out the window. I'm just a giant child, so.
Same. I refuse to grow up.
I can't either.
So I was getting a little too in the weeds there because we still have some work to do with the compositing, but
it's so fun already. I think everyone's really exciting.
I was just having too much fun, so I'm gonna get back to it.
I'm like back here, like, I'm Lisa Franking out right now. I'm like,
oh, I love Lisa.
I do too.
Okay, so we're just gonna turn those off for a second because I think I need to worry a little bit about where this guy fits in the scene.
Oh yeah, Savik is asking, I'd love to have a swatch like yours. By the way, can a swatch be exported in Photoshop? Totally.
Totally. And one of the great things about Creative Cloud is that they're just automatically there.
They're automatically there in every program. So if they're in your Creative Cloud through Adobe in your library, you can open them in any single Adobe program and they'll be present. All you have to do is go into Library.
Exactly, and it's really helpful for me because I have my iPad that I use on the go and Photoshop for iPad, which I might be using tomorrow if I can get the stars aligned. But it's nice to not have to like go back in and be like, okay, where's my palette?
Totally. You're like, where is it? You're like, shoot. Yeah, and it's nice because you can also categorize them. So if you have different palettes for different things, I mean, obviously this is for your specific project, but you're working for other things too. You're working on other projects. So you can categorize those for, other rainbow project or non-rainbow project, which is just all blacks and whites.
Totally.
You're like my sad day project.
Oh my God. No. Never.
You're like, never. This will never end.
No, always
I
rainbow.
hope not.
Always rainbow.
Yes, Jessie D, good point. You can also share with your friends. You can invite people to your Adobe library as a friend, and then they can also contribute to your palette. Mm-hmm.
And that's really good for teams too.
Totally.
Like when I'm working with collaborators.
Yeah, because you can share your assets. It's not just swatches. You can share fonts. You can share graphic, illustrations, logos, anything really.
That's what I love about Cloud is it just makes it easy. Like I feel like I have more time to be creative because I worry less about like
where is it?
The boring stuff that I don't want to do.
Totally, me too.
Like how do I get this palette out there?
Yeah.
It's just automatic.
You're like, there it is. Boom.
So again, I'm just kind of getting in there and doing like a quick and dirty mask just so we have, because I don't want to start the color editing part until I feel like, okay, the composition feels like it's sort of getting there. I know that there's probably faster ways to do this, but this is the way that I like. So
I think this is the best way. It's your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I have been experimenting with is there's this in the new version of Photoshop, which I think I'm running. Oh, yes. So you can select subject, which let's just go into the smart object real quick and see if it works. So let's see if it lets me select the subject. Sometimes it's really good.
Yeah, sometimes it is really good, and sometimes it's really hard because, what would the subject be?
See, look at that. That's
pretty good.
Pretty decent, and then I could go back in and just kind of add.
Yeah, you can then add the rest that you
some
want.
Opacity, but I know I showed you that, but we're not going to
You're like, we're not using that. It's not for us. You're like,
I don't like her, so she's going to go away, and then we're going to go back to this one.
So good.
Window, view. Oh yeah, full screen.
Melanie says that your color palette swatches create a super nice unity in all your images.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like guess and testing. It's like the more that I did it, the more I was like, this might look better if they all kind of spoke the same language.
Totally. Unified. Beautiful. And Jordan, she made an awesome comment earlier about the yellow. She's like, yellow's so hard to work with, so she was glad that you had a solution for that. I was like, agreed.
Yellow is really hard to work with. I saw a tweet, like, I think a month ago that was saying, like, anyone who can pull off the color yellow is, like, a special kind of, like, powerful human being, which I think is pretty true.
As in, like, wearing it or using it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to start wearing yellow now. I just want to be special.
You're already special. I'm not worried about you.
I have these mustard pants that I just bought, and I absolutely love them.
Oh, my God.
I call them my cool pants.
Will you wear them tomorrow, please?
Yeah, maybe I will.
Okay, cute.
Yeah. They kind of look like workwear, which I love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it. And they're a little shorter than they should be, which is also cool.
It's like very trendy right now.
It is. Short workwear pants.
Cropped workwear.
Cropped workwear.
You guys didn't know this, but this is like a fashion commentator stream now.
Like I came in this morning and Senna, who usually lets us in, she's like, you're so regular today. She's like, usually you're so colorful. I'm like, I know. It's because Ramzy's here and he's going to take up all the color.
No such thing.
No such thing.
Plenty of room.
Although I am having some colorful moments. It's just,
You have a colorful personality.
Yeah, mostly. I have these red shoes that match your shoes right now. By the way, you should show your shoes. They're really cool. Like,
how do
we'll just like put them up on screen.
Okay.
Yeah, just like stand up and show everybody your shoes. Aren't they so cool? I know. Yeah, so this is what it's like to be hosted by me. Sorry. So his shoes are super awesome, and tomorrow I want to wear my red ones. They will not go with my yellow pants, so I'm going to have to coordinate and figure that out, but
it's perfect.
Yeah.
I probably will wear these again tomorrow.
Oh, good.
So.
Then we can have matching metallic shoes. Mine are metallic, too.
We can have like a twinning moment.
A twinning moment, exactly. I like twinning moments. They're great. Oh, see, Tanya's like best shoes ever.
Oh, thank you.
Exactly. You really have to show off some of this. Oh, hey, Jordan. Jordan's like, by the way, I'm a guy. I'm always like, hey, Jordan, she said this.
Oh.
Well, I guess I know a couple Jordans that are women. But Jordan is a mostly male name. I'm always confused. My mom's name is Terry, so she could be either a man or a woman. Yeah.
I have a cousin, Terry. She's a female.
Nice. Jesse said, oh my God, Ramzy, where can I get those shoes?
They're from J. Crew.
Boom.
Boom.
There you go. Everyone can have these shoes.
Just doing all the plugs today.
Yeah, right. You're like, so J. Crew, check. Nickelodeon, Lisa Frank. I'm like, wait, what did I say? Delilah?
Oh, yeah. Can we conference send Delilah?
Yeah, can we?
Delilah.
Thank you, Jordan. I know it totally happens. Hey, Cindy, welcome. Good to see you, too.
Okay, so I feel like this is starting to feel like pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it's
there's
looking good.
Definitely some room for improvement later, but I think we're getting there. So I'll get on to like everyone's favorite part, which is the color.
You're like, we're moving on to color.
We're moving on. It's time to color. So the first layer that I like to do is the color layer. And this one, I'm probably just going to sketch in the full spectrum just so we have a sense of like how much space we have. Because sometimes like I'll do what I did before and I'll get like really in the weeds, like at this sort of
Granular,
granular scale, and then I'll get to like green and I'll be like, oh no.
Oh no, where does green go?
Yeah.
You're like, shoot.
There's like not enough room. So we're just gonna kind of workshop that in so that it feels like everything is gonna move along the way it needs to. So I'm gonna start with pink. I don't use any red, and I know this is a divisive subject, but red obviously is the beginning of the spectrum, but I think it's such an intense, like, angry color sometimes.
It also turns really tarnishing, you know, like
Totally.
when you're coloring over in the color blend mode.
Totally. So if you look at the difference there,
Yeah.
it's just so like it tarnishes, but then when it gets going, it's a little too hot.
Yeah, and
Like
it also feels kind of like a weird orange. I don't know. There's something wrong with it. I
Yeah.
like the pink. I like that you choose that.
Well, it's also like more femme, and clearly I like pink. I have like sort of a pinky, purpley outfit on today.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
I'm just trying to get rid of. There we
Robin
go.
loves your shoes.
Thank you.
Majid is from Algeria. We've got all the
Hello.
things happening right now in chat. I love this. You're like, I like your shoes. I'm from Algeria.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Marhaba.
Nice.
Hello in Arabic.
Oh, super cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, so we've got some orange in here. And then I'm just gonna kind of wrap the color like around. So it's a voluminous smoke plume. And so I like to kind of add, you know, consider the volume of the object that I'm colorizing.
I like that. Consider the volume. Voluminous.
Sorry, I'm just getting
Love
like
it.
$10 words over here.
I'm into the $10 words. I mean, we had amicable this morning, and I was like, quite good. I use that often.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, we're still pretty rough in here, but I'm just kind of getting my bearings and figuring out, you know, where these colors are going to go. And I do like to put them out of order sometimes. So you're noticing like I'm adding some green before the yellow. Why not? Who cares? It makes it more fun, and it's not as calculated. Have you heard of wabi-sabi?
Yes.
So wabi-sabi is a big part of my process because it's this Japanese like standard of beauty, and it's that things that are too perfect look like something's wrong, or like they're not as beautiful. And so I always like to make intentional like little mistakes here and there just to kind of give it some character.
I like that. Well, and it's smoke, so it would come through in a different way. You know, like some of it might plume up into other areas.
Totally, and that's a really good point that I meant to bring up, is that when I'm adding color to subjects, like I think it's always important to think about the behavior of that object. Like if I'm coloring fur, like thinking about like the way that it drapes is helpful. And with smoke, like you said, it's sort of like is amorphous and kind of like moves around. And like
candy-like.
Totally. It wouldn't be colored like perfectly the way I'm doing it.
No, and it wouldn't be in like stripes. It's not like that.
No. So I'm just kind of trying to get it, you know, as close to like the outline as possible. And I feel like that's starting to be...
That's awesome.
It's getting there. So I'm going to start... I'll put this...
Rosemary says she has to go. She'll be back in a few. She thinks she's going to go get some cotton candy, though.
Yeah, do it.
Absolutely. Send us some. That sounds amazing.
Please, I would love that.
I would love it, too.
Oh, my God. Okay, so I just put this opacity down just so that I can get a sense of like a guide of where I'm going to go. And then I'm going to go back in and add another color layer. If you can't tell, I love layers, and I should probably go in and label them later.
You do you. You can layer them when you're done.
Yeah.
It's like you can sleep when you're dead. Layer when you're done.
We have the same philosophy about
I know,
a lot
right?
of things. I love it.
Yeah. Noor Hosseini, welcome. Mohammed, welcome. Abdullah, welcome. Abdullah has a great and very deep question, which may not be able to be answered right now. What is the core concept of color theory in design?
Oh, wow.
That's deep, Abdullah.
Well, we just would have to do a total detour.
Total detour.
And this would end up being more like a lecture.
Totally.
But there's some good people to look up if you want to learn about color. I'd say Albers is a good place to start.
Albers is a great place to start.
Yeah.
It's a lot of color theory and color and composition. Good for understanding like the progression of the rainbow, literally Roy G. Biv, so red all the way through indigo and violet.
He's great too because a lot of his work, that fine art that he made, was about simultaneous contrast, which teaches you like that color is this like thing that there's no really hard and fast rules about.
No.
Like people try to say like the way that you need to combine colors or like the logic that you should use,
Right.
but like
There's
really
complementary, but there's
one.
also, anti-complementary colors that go really well together. There is no rule.
Well, yeah, and like a red will look more red if a green is next to it.
Totally.
Versus like if it's by itself. And so
And they can cancel each other out depending on if you're colorblind.
for sure.
So it's really, color is very, very deep and difficult. I think that's the thing I struggle with the most in most of my design because it's so complex.
I have a problem picking just a few because I love all of them, obviously. So
I love it, yeah.
when I have to put together a palette of just a couple, I'm like, oh no. I love all of my babies. How do I pick just one?
You're like, just one color. I also like a lot of color, and I think that's why I struggle because it's just too much fun. And sometimes you need it.
Sometimes it's better. It depends on the project, but sometimes, yeah, it's better to have a limited palette. I really respect people who can put together like a palette of like 3 colors and it like tells this really rich story and it's perfect and beautiful and you're like, how did
that happen?
How is that
But
possible?
Why? Yeah.
It's like a coral and a turquoise and like a dove gray and it looks amazing. Like, wait, what? It's not rainbow?
I'm always interested in how Pantone can continuously come out with new colors.
Oh, yeah. When sometimes it's like 3 colors, too, like their color of the year.
These are 3 new colors. I'm like, are they, though? I'm like, really? I mean, like, yeah, they're new in the fact that now they're in my computer, but
right.
They've been there all along. It's pretty great.
So I'm going to try to explain part of the way that I edit, and it might let me know if it's confusing because it might be.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Like I was
Please
talking
do.
before about volume. So like you'll notice this part of the smoke plume is this like really great sort of like round shape. And so I like to use this spectrum order as a way of adding depth around a shape. So we've got the edge here, which I've added this yellow to, which helps it kind of pop. And then, like you said, Roy G. Biv, so we're gonna add that green as a transitional element to get to this really rich blue. And the yellow is gonna be as like an edge contour, and the blue will be to like add depth in the heavy parts of the object. And so that kind of helps it to like the physics as it relates to color.
Totally.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's the chemistry of the colors.
Right, and also using color as a way to like highlight shape and texture and tone.
It's the progression of how they would actually be in a rainbow, and rainbows are actually like, even though they seem flat, they are physically in space. So therefore they have contours.
Totally.
Which is a very strange concept, but yes.
I need to hire you to like follow me around and explain my stuff. You're so
yes,
good at
I'll
it.
articulate it for you. No
Perfect.
problem.
I'm sure you have many other talents that are much.
Eric Sue says, Kristine dissing Pantone on Adobe Live. This is great. I was like, hey, come on, Eric Sue. You know me. I mean, I'm very hot on Pantone. But at the same time, new colors? Come on.
New colors. They
They're
do
like,
it.
this is new. No, it is true. I've been reading this book, which I can't remember the name. I'll try and remember it for tomorrow. But it's all about the history of color.
Oh, I want to read that.
Specifically where certain colors first originated, who made them chemically, and the like possibilities and how certain colors became more popular over time, and specifically in the advent of colors where most colors came from accident, mixing chemicals where they thought they were going to cure pneumonia or cure some sort of, epidemic, but a color ended up coming out from the chemistry and the concoction of what they made, which is pretty interesting.
I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's all about chemistry. Chemicals in labs, the first chemical composited color.
Well, I wish I was better at chemistry.
Oh gosh, I know. I think that was the only part about chemistry that I really loved. I loved chemistry. Math, I forget it, but chemistry, I'm like, ooh, we can make colors and make things smell like rotten eggs. Amazing, let's do it. I was like, that one's yellow and green. Yeah. Noor Hosani says, okay, now I have the song True Colors in my head.
True
I like it.
Colors.
Shining through.
We're just going to do karaoke the rest of the time. Is that okay, guys?
Oh my God, I love karaoke. That would be my dream day.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Well, next time I'm here, we'll do the editing and then we'll sing along.
Yeah, totally. This is really coming together quite nicely. I can see the depth with the orange and pink that you're adding in.
Thanks.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like this smoke plume was definitely the correct decision. The other one was like a little too flat.
Yeah.
But we'll still use her as a way to kind of give the scene some depth later.
Yes, Tim Mobeast. I am talking about the Lavoisier purple. Oh.
Got some color experts in here.
Mm-hmm. Sure do. Color experts. Yeah, there's a lot of incredible color.
So I'm going to zoom out just to give you guys like a sense of how things are shaping up. So you can see like this contour lighting that I'm adding in here is helping to define those shapes. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and just rough that in because it's more exciting for you guys watching at home to see like what that will look like with these other fields of color. And then I'll go back in later and kind of, get it so that it's singing.
Amazing.
But the pink on top of the purple kind of gives the purple some life and allows the purple to kind of recede as a way of defining that like depth in the background. And then it looks like we need some yellow here to kind of pop this guy out and bring these like lighter values to the forefront.
Yeah, the pluming is quite nice.
It's like magical, mystical. Mm-hmm. I want to know what's going on down in the sewer.
You're like, what is going on down there?
Yeah.
The turtles, obviously.
Totally, the turtles.
The turtles are like, we're having a party. We burned the pizza.
Oh my God. Cotton candy pizza?
Yeah, right? Oh, that would be amazing. You could make a whole series out of this. Like, what did the turtles really do?
Oh my God. Maybe I'll add a pizza down here when we're done.
Yeah, right? A color pizza with like runts on it instead of pepperoni.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Why am I so hungry now?
I don't know. But runts on pizza sounds awful, but I'd eat it anyway.
I would totally try it.
Yes, Perkins. It was Perkins Synthetics. Yes, so the color was Perkins Synthetic had inspired more than 100 different unique colors. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, Mauvine. It was for malaria. Tim Mobeast, you and I read the same book. This is amazing. Yeah, it inspired Tyrian purple, Martius yellow, Nicholson's blue, and Manchester brown. Yes.
I have a lot of reading to do.
Yes, but Mauvine was the major color, and it was very popular with the royals. Mm-hmm.
Purple, yeah, it's like a mystical color.
It is. So Abdullah asks, how do you guys get motivated when you're in design work? Or maybe like staying motivated. How do you stay motivated during design?
That's a good question because obviously this stuff is like really time consuming, like can be, depending on the subject. I don't know. I guess I stay motivated by like using it as an opportunity to like escape for a second and just kind of like live in the intricacies of like this world without like having to worry about like I need to do my laundry, and like it's time to change the litter box or like whatever.
You're like, those are real world problems.
Yeah. And so it's a little like mental break, which I don't know, for me is fun, and it's a good way to supplement my full-time job with a creative passion that like I can use when I need a little bit of escape.
Totally. I like that. I think having this and this is this just personal project, or is this also part of something greater that you're doing?
So sort of both.
Yeah.
I'd like for it to be more of a personal project, like more of a parlay itself into like more stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a couple things in the works that I'll tease out soon on my Instagram.
Nice.
That are exciting. So yeah, things like putting more of this aesthetic, taking it off of the internet and putting it more into the real world. So whether that's like products or experiences or more tutorials or books or posters, that kind of stuff. So thinking more about that.
Amazing.
For me, it's like, and this is one thing I slightly mentioned at the onset, but that I want to like drive home more, is that like the thing that inspires this work is my gender identity and the fact that I'm part of the LGBTQ community. And so activism is a big part of it. Mm-hmm. And so the more opportunities I have to tell stories about, marginalized communities or people who maybe are misunderstood, and to spread, love and joy around that, I think is like why I come back to it and why like what inspires me.
Totally.
At the end of the day, because it is really pretty and fun, but also like
it's telling a story and you're communicating something with greater purpose.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess metaphorically, like this smoke plume is like me walking down a street in New York.
I love it.
Adding some color.
Well, that's the best thing about design, is that it's a communication tool. It's not just to make things beautiful,
Totally. And sometimes like when I first started doing this, I didn't come at it with like this like activism angle, but the more, because as you can tell, like it's easy to talk and do this at the same time. And so like while I'm doing this on my own, it's fun to like to think about, just like have time to think, And so the more I've done it, the more like the work has changed to become more conceptual and have more of a point of view.
Yeah, I love that.
So
it's cool to see something where people are interested in, getting into their own vision in their own mind, and like you're doing something that's making you happy personally, but then it manifests into something larger. And I think that when you're, like you said earlier, when you are just doing something because you love it, that's what naturally happens.
Totally. And I found myself like just sneaking any chance to do it like at home, like watching TV or
you're like ooh, it is like knitting then. You're just like, ooh, I don't knit either, but like, yeah. You're like, I'm making a rainbow.
Yeah. And there's something, I feel like I've heard a quote about like the things you do in your free time is like what you should do for your full time. And
totally.
So yeah, it's definitely comes from a place of like fun and passion for me, and like
completely.
And
you can see it, and it's the joy within your work that people can see. Oh, and now Steve wants rainbow sherbet. I love rainbow sherbet.
Oh my God.
It's like not even that good, but when you eat it, it's great.
Oh, it's great.
Like I would never choose it, but then when it's there, I'm like, this is so good. Why do I never eat this?
It's delicious.
It's delicious, yeah. Razu, good morning. Beck Nelson, good morning and welcome. It's a whole new group of people coming in. I love this. It happens every hour. New people are waking up and tuning into Adobe Live, whereas others are going to bed. Super fun. Yes, and Steve says, it's amazing work. Very cool.
Thank you.
And Jose loves the storytelling element.
Thanks, Jose.
Hey, Cindy Sang, how are you? Yay. Yeah, it looks beautiful. It does feel very sherbet. I love it. I kind of love the name sherbet. It's like such a weird word. I love it. I want a sherbet.
Yeah, I'm like hungry now.
Yeah, I know.
We're talking about pizza,
cotton candy, sherbet, turtles. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can get a delivery.
Totally. Maybe that's what we'll have for lunch, pizza.
Oh my God.
Yeah, only if we're so lucky. Maybe it'll be a pizza day. Yay.
It's the day after Thanksgiving break, so it's time.
Yeah, totally. Juan Miguel Garcia, is there a book you would recommend to learn color theory? There's actually quite a few books. Go up and look up Joseph Albers. He has a lot of great historical material, as well as Sean Adams did quite a few great books on color theory and designing with color. I would hop on Amazon Prime or check that out. And then yes, Tim Mobeast is right. We have 18 minutes left for portfolio submissions, so please submit your portfolios. This is going to be a very exciting time. Ramzy will take a look and critically look at your work and give you constructive feedback.
I promise I'll be nice.
I'm always like, don't be nice. Be real. You're like, oh, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome, Razu.
Okay, so I could do this forever, but I want to
but
keep
you
this
should.
interesting for you guys.
Everyone's like, color,
I'll go back in later and add some more depth, but one thing I want to try right now is to see, well, I need to tighten up that mask, which I'll do later, but I just want to see like if I add, because obviously if we think about this plume of smoke, like certainly the immediate plume would be colored, but then behind it would probably be like some semi-transparent, like
smoke passage.
more smoke kind of going on behind.
Even
I'm
better.
Kind of curious, like just adding it with Photoshop's brushes, like what that would do. So I'm going to try that now, and it might not work, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like, who knows? Hello, Marcus. Welcome.
I think it also helps to, when you have an element in the scene that's this different, finding ways to kind of tie it in, I think is important.
Totally.
So obviously, like, the palette is so different from anything else, and that's part of the strength of the image, but one thing, I mean, this isn't like a wet ground, but like...
But it could be.
Maybe it is a little bit.
I'm like, it could be wet.
It could be. So I think I'm going to go in and just add a little bit of reflection in here, because if this thing was real, which it is in our imaginations, then it would have, it would cast probably some light on the street. And so let's think about like what those colors would be. My guess this close to it would be the oranges and the pinks. So I'm just going to add, a little bit of that in here just to kind of give it more of a sense of place and like it feels like it belongs in the scene.
Oh yeah, it's got some reflection in it. Hello, Nunu Diaz. Welcome. I am back. Thank you. You are back too. Ooh, this is good. Yeah, this makes it really start to fit in the reflection.
And then on these sidewalks too, in these little highlight sections, we're just kind of...
Ooh, I love it. Maybe that trash bag can be colorful later.
Oh yeah. I mean, I could always clone her out, but that's very...
it's very New York.
It's very New York.
I was like, there's trash on the street.
I didn't notice that until we got in close.
I know, me either. I was like, it's either a dead hippo or it's trash. Either way, it could be in New York.
A tiny hippo. That's so true.
Dead hippo or trash. You decide. It's New York.
Oh my God. Have you seen Subway Creatures?
No.
It's like this really weird Instagram of like New York subway people and things. It's always...
I mean, I've seen a million rats in New York.
Oh yeah.
A million.
It's just like really bizarre stuff that you wouldn't think would be in a subway. Like there was once like a live fish that was like flipping around like in the subway.
Really?
That somebody put a video of on the internet.
Maybe someone just dropped it in there. I don't know.
You never know. Hello,
Razu from Bangladesh. Thank you for letting us know. That's very far. Thank you for joining. I love how global our community is.
You know.
Super cool.
So yeah, I'm just adding some more of this atmospheric light just to kind of make it feel...
Fatima, welcome. Hi. We've got all sorts of people joining us right now. For those of you who are freshly joining us, we are here with Ramzy Masri, and he is coloring his amazing Photoshop digital image that he has composited together using stock photography.
So just give you a sense of what this is starting to look like. So yeah, I really do think that this is helping to make it feel like it's more in the scene. So we're just going to add little subtle touches here and there. I think some of this green, it might reflect down in the front because it's up here. So we're going to add just a little touch of it. Maybe some blues.
Oh, yeah.
We doing okay on time?
Oh, yeah. We've got like 13, 14 minutes.
Oh, great. Okay.
And then we'll be looking at a couple portfolios. So this is exciting. You guys don't forget to get your portfolios submitted. All you have to do is click on Portfolio Review to submit your portfolio. And you'll have the opportunity to have Ramzy give you some constructive feedback. And he said he'll be nice.
I'll be nice.
Fingers crossed.
But I'll also be honest.
Yeah, Mako says, it's a great patience job.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
But I think it's worth it. It's fun, like, seeing things come to life before your eyes.
I mean, anything worth doing is going to take some time.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're kind of getting in a...
we got a groove.
Good place. I'm just going to start working on some of these more granular things, like making sure that this mask is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go in and kind of, I feel like this part needs a little bit of finessing too, so I'll get that going here shortly.
Abdullah's asking, as a beginning graphic designer, how do I improve myself into the next level?
I think one thing that we forget in our education as designers is that, like, we're an active part of that. And especially early in my career, or, you know, when I see students work or things like that, it's mostly, their portfolios are mostly comprised of projects from school, which is great. But I think it's easier both for your growth as an artist and also for your education to have personal projects.
Agreed.
Like, this is a personal project for me. A lot of times, like, students will tell me, like, I'll review their portfolio and they'll say, like, oh yeah, I mean, but these are just the projects that you know, that I was given in school. And I'll say, like, yeah, I understand that, and that's part of your education, but also showing that you have an interest and passion for design outside of, like, your curriculum, which is obviously hard because, like, school is hard, but finding something you love, I think, is a really good way of kind of adding, you know,
some depth to your work and some understanding and theory behind what you're doing. It's not just assignments. It's more passion and practice. Yeah. I'd say, you know, to practice is going to be your best bet. So the thing that you love to do it a lot. The more you practice, the more you will understand why you're doing it and what you're doing it for.
Totally. And it was just the thing you said earlier about, like, nothing good comes easy, and it's like however many hours of mastery it takes to, like, get to a place where you're, you know,
a master at something,
really good at something.
It's just like learning a language. It's a different kind of language design.
Totally. But the thing I love about personal projects is, like, you really get to, like, decide, like, what do I want to do. You can do whatever you want. You could redesign you know, the packaging for your favorite product, or do, like, a new show intro for your favorite TV show, or write a script, or I don't know, just anything in your imagination that you want to explore. So I think
anything you have interest in,
defining those projects for yourself is one of the best ways to grow as a designer early on.
Agreed. Good question, Abdullah.
Yeah. I'm just going to blur this, like, a little bit because I feel like those hard edges make it look super duper fake. But that's
you're like,
way too blurry. So
you're like, stuff just got real fake. I'm like, it's pretty cool though.
It's obviously fake, but
you're like, it's obviously not real, but is it real? We don't know. Tune in tomorrow to find out. This is when the CSI, like, music comes up.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever that is, like, do do do. Tune in tomorrow. Dateline.
Of course, now I'm lost because I didn't label my layers, but here we are. It's fine.
You're like, oh, shoot. There is a purpose for labeling.
Oh, there really is.
Right?
But it's hard to do that and to,
it is.
Work at the pace you want to
it's
sometimes.
So hard to label. Who else doesn't like to label out there? Probably everybody.
It's funny because I'm OCD about some things, and then others I'm like, well, whatever.
That's called a designer.
Right?
Some things are very detail-oriented. Some things you're like, oh, I forgot.
Okay, I think this is kind of getting to a good place. I don't know, anyone in the chat, if you have any feedback,
chat. Let us know.
If you have any, like, suggestions for things I could improve, let me know.
I'm just excited about coloring other things.
Totally.
I'm like hippos and lights and all sorts of stuff. Yay.
Well, and if you tune in tomorrow, I'll color some very different things from this too, so we can, you know, have a sense of
Yeah, totally.
how these things work.
Well, this is good because we'll have about 10 minutes and then we'll review some portfolios. And then we'll probably have 10 more minutes after that where we can continue to
cool.
play around. Eric Sue says he doesn't usually label his layers either.
Oh, good.
I'm glad yeah.
I'm glad I'm not alone.
No, you're not alone. I mean, yeah. Tim Obese is like, you can also color your layers. I'm like, but that would also take time.
Oh, yeah. I've never done that, but I really should try, actually.
Yeah. That would be fun. I mean, especially for what you're doing, but that could get really confusing for you because you use so many colors.
Right. Right.
You're like, oh no, what does yellow mean? I don't know.
Could be a lot of things.
You would just rainbow color your layers and then you'd be like, shoot, what have I done?
Okay, so these atmospheric elements I think are definitely helping to tie everything sort of nicely together. I'm just going to keep adding layers because I love layers. And just experimenting with what things look like. So
totally.
Just see how everything moves along.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think adding some more of this stuff to like tie it into the scene is definitely really making a big difference? And also like, I do love once I get something colored to like see the difference is really fun, you know?
Oh yeah, totally. To see before and after. You're like, it's such a gray world. You're like, but couldn't it be great with color?
Right?
Yeah. Thank you, Razu. And message says, lack of red light on the smoke makes it look odd. Lack of red light on the smoke.
Okay. So maybe adding some overlay.
Or maybe taking the red light out of the lights on the side, which you might be doing later or tomorrow. We don't know.
Oh, these guys here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot that could change.
To be honest, I'm not sure. So
yeah, we don't know yet.
We're
still playing around.
My philosophy is always just to try a bunch of stuff and like see what works. So.
Yeah. And then Fawedzi says, I don't know who names their layers either. It's like, that's something I do last minute and then hand over the project. I'm like, me too. I make it look super buttoned up and I'm like, look at me. I'm so professional. I did all of this the whole time. And I was like, oh no. Should have seen this 10 minutes ago.
Layers and folders
exactly.
and folders. And
totally.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. I don't know anyone who does that either. They always do it before they hand over their files.
So I'm just going back over with this overlay layer, like I talked about earlier, just to add, make the highlights a little bit brighter and stronger, especially with the yellows. I think it really helps.
Oh yeah, it looks so creamy. I like it.
Looks like dessert, right?
Yeah, it does. It's that sherbet that's coming back in. How do you say that ice cream? Do you say sherbet or sherbet?
I say sherbet, which I've heard is wrong.
I do too. I've always said sherbet. Like I add the R in there, so it's sherbet.
Right.
Versus sherbet.
Sherbet.
Or sherbet. I don't know. I mean, like, it could be sherbet.
Is it sorbet?
If you're French, that's sorbet. Yeah, you're right. Sorbet. Some people call it... No one says sorbet. Why do we say sherbet?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
That is a great reason. Oh, my God. Somebody help us out there. Anyone help us. Please.
We're obviously hungry, so...
Obviously, yeah. Isla says sherbet. Do you guys say sherbet or do you say sherbet? It's like Bert and Ernie.
Oh, Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie, I love them. Hey, Paul! How are you? Paul Tranny's out there. He says, great work, Ramzy. Good to see you both.
Hello.
Hi, Paul. Last time I saw Paul, he was on stage being a comedian at Adobe Max. So good. And I also got to eat cotton candy there. So I have actually eaten cotton candy within the last 30 days.
Oh, my God.
I know.
How was Adobe Max, by the way?
It was incredible.
Yeah?
Yes, it was incredible.
I wanted to go, but I was too busy, unfortunately.
Next year. Next year.
I've heard it's a lot of fun.
It is so good and so inspirational and so many great speakers and great guests and artists. It's incredible.
I was really impressed by 99U because I went in like not at all knowing what it was going to be.
So I've never done 99U.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to come to New York this year.
I will.
We're already friends, so we'll go together. It's really, really fun.
And don't forget to submit your portfolios. We really need to get those in there. You've got about 5 more minutes, so please submit your portfolios. It's going to be a fun day, and Ramzy will be able to take a look at everything. So don't forget, do them now. It's your chance to be on Adobe Live.
So this part, it's like very subtle changes, but it's fun to just like try a bunch of different things and see, you know, how the colors work and where they fit. I always feel like so there's a lot of like pinks and oranges in here, so I kind of try to break them up by like adding some of that purple and like the cobalt in there just to give it some depth.
Nice.
I think that's helping. It's just a balance of like making it feel like it's not too muddy.
Yeah.
Which like sometimes it can look like that.
Totally.
So I'll obviously obsess over this later, and then you guys can see the final result. But I think it's pretty close, actually.
Yeah, it looks great.
This is my first time doing this, so I'm glad the timing worked out. Like, feels like it's a good pace. I love Adobe stock. I'm going to be using a lot more of it.
Like, I really like this Adobe stock.
Yeah. Well, it just makes it so much easier because in New York, it's like going around, like taking this kind of photo is hard because there's always people in the street and then you have to like sit there with your camera. And truth be told, like I'm not a really good photographer. I just fix everything in Photoshop.
I love that. You're like, I can do this.
Yeah, I'd much rather just take people's fabulous photos, obviously giving them credit, and then focus on the thing that I'm actually okay at.
Hey, you gotta stick with your strengths, you know?
Exactly.
Oh, this is exciting. Keep adding portfolios, everybody. The best part about portfolio review is that we go to space.
We go to space?
Yep, we go to space.
Is that what these space helmets are for?
Yes. You're like, look away. You're like, is that what that thing is right there? I'm like, yes, Ramzy. That's exactly what it's for.
Okay, glad. I'm glad because I
You're
didn't
like,
know.
cool. You're like, I wanted to wear it anyway.
Oh, for sure. I had no idea what it was for.
Oh, someone says they see a face in the cloud facing left. There's a mouth, nose, and eye.
Is it?
Facing left.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah.
We're
like
this area?
Maybe. Facing left.
That's what's great about clouds.
Yeah.
You can see whatever you want.
Exactly. He said in the orange part.
Maybe this guy?
Maybe. I don't know. I see cotton candy and sherbet. I'm obviously food motivated.
Yeah, I think it's around lunchtime, right? No, it's still early. Just always hungry.
Yes, Hassan, use the portfolio tab. So if you go into portfolio review, you can select that, and then you can submit your portfolio there. Woohoo! The best. Simply the best.
Some Tina.
Oh, yeah. God, I love Tina.
Same.
The best.
Her musical opened up in New York.
What?
Yeah.
She has a musical?
It's like a jukebox musical of all of her music.
I did not know that.
And the Tina, the person playing her, looks like
Just like
spot
her?
on. Yeah.
Wow, that is really good. Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed. She's really popular in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, every time I'm in a taxi or Uber or whatever, when I'm overseas, I always hear her music. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, because you never get that in the States. But, like, you can hear it all the time.
Oh my God.
Without fail, Private Dancer comes on. And I'm like, what? It's
Such
so
a good,
popular.
Such a good song.
It is.
I love her and Sade. Sade is like one of my other favorites.
All right. Oh, Simply Mo Best. Totally. Tim Mo Beast is Mo Best. Simply Mo Best.
I love a good pun.
I do too. It is that time. It is the submission deadline. So hopefully you guys all got your submissions in. I know I'm very excited to see who we've selected. So, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, let's do this. Oh, and we're back. We have gone to space. We are here on Adobe Live in our space helmets. How was space for you?
I love space.
I love space too. It's so fun. I actually watched a space movie last night, and it was really scary.
Which one?
The one with Brad Pitt, the Ad Astra one.
Oh, yeah, that looks
was
really spooky. I love space, but it's also terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying, so let's get out of space.
Okay.
So we have 2 portfolios that we're going to review now that we're back on Earth. The first one is Tanya Langer. She also won today. How cool is that?
She's having a great day.
She's having a great day. So Tanya is a freelance 3D product packaging designer at Design Shed in the United Kingdom. A little bit about her. Creative support from front-end concept design, visualization, and 3D modeling to liaising with manufacturers and product management. Very clear. Specialties: sketching, rendering, 3D modeling, languages, presentation skills, and creative troubleshooting. This is amazing. She's like, how is this possible? We're like, we don't know, Tanya, but you're having a day. You should buy a lottery ticket. All right, amazing. So where do you want to start? Obviously, newest projects are first and older projects are last.
Yeah, I mean, they're all beautiful, really nice work. Is it Tanja or Tanya?
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know if we got it wrong.
If I'm like Tanja or Tanya.
Maybe with this one, because I love the illustration styling here.
Cool.
These are really nice.
So refillable shampoo bottle. A little made-up project on how to design a refillable shampoo bottle.
Perfect. We were just talking about made-up projects.
Totally.
If you want to put something in your portfolio, just make up a way to do it. And this is a great example of that.
Yeah, and I also like she starts up with it is Tanya. Perfect. She starts with her specific aim and what she's doing. So my aim was to do all the sketch work in Adobe Fresco and see how to fill it in her usual concept design flow. Good to have a project to show off, even if it's just a concept.
I also love, if you look at the screen, like that it matches.
Oh yeah,
it
totally.
Kind of matches like our colors.
Yeah, well, especially you. This is great. It's your lavender.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way that you've layered some different pieces in here. Like you've got the ingredients, which gives me a sense of like the smell, but also like the the concept product too is rendered really nicely, and it gives me a good sense of like what it is, what it's for, and clearly like you're great at illustrating, and so it's cool to see that reflected in your work.
Yeah, this is great. It's cool to see the conceptual thinking of how you would like do product design for this. It's really nice. It's very thoughtful.
It makes me want to like take a bath.
I know. I was like, I want some lavender.
Yeah.
Yeah, full process. This is beautiful.
Really nice drawings. Yeah.
I like it better without the hand. Everything feels really strong except for the hand.
The hand, it's very detailed. Like there's a lot of lines that feel like maybe don't need to be there.
Yeah.
But I like the scale of like having the hand to see like how big the bottle is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it's the color of the lines on the hand because they're lavender as well. It feels unnatural. So I would just maybe make those natural skin tone.
Yeah, and I think you could do, like, I always like when I see hands in like UI or UX, that's like very simple. And so it could just be like one tone.
Totally.
Like flat skin tone, like very sort of light and soft.
Yeah.
And then focusing more on the product.
Exactly. Nice job, Tanya.
Yeah, good job.
All right. Oops, there we go. Let's see, what next? I kind of like these little animals.
Yeah, let's just
Wooden creatures in fresco.
Those are so cute.
They're so cute. So it's a project combining hand-drawn fresco illustrations and 3D visuals in Dimension. Yes. Using both Dimension and Fresco. Awesome. Quick models in Rhino. Importing this into Dimension. Super cool. Ooh, on a board game.
Are they real or?
No, they look like they're all created digitally.
Wow.
So physical in Rhino and then importing into Dimension to create a scene on a board. So I'm also curious, and the illustrations were drawn in Fresco, so cool. Hand-drawn. Really cool. I love the little illustrations. They're so cute. Speaking of hippos.
I know.
That's a live hippo. Ours was dead in a sack.
Oh my God. Flashback.
Flashback to New York hippos.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
Wow.
Oh, she says not just digitally, so also, in Fresco beforehand, before today. Cool.
No, just digitally. Okay, cool.
Oh, just
yeah, I want to
digitally.
see more of the animals. Like to me, that's like the part that's really cute and amazing.
Totally.
So it would be cool to see like even more. I know there's probably only 4 pieces in the game, but you could create like a whole universe
a whole jungle
around the game, and like maybe what are the like advertisements for it look like, or if you were to create like a little commercial or something. Like that would be cool too.
I like this little elephant, how his trunk goes out. He seems a little happier versus the one that goes down, but I can see why you did that to make him more uniform and have a longer trunk.
Totally.
He's cute.
Well, I also appreciate you including process. I think that's always really nice to see the way a person thinks through a project.
Totally. Yeah, this is so cute. I love them.
Cute.
Oh, they're in all sorts of environments.
Yeah.
You're really showing off your skills and dimension. Very cool.
Well, we picked a great portfolio to start with.
I know. So what's next?
Could go anywhere, really. I mean, I've been curious what these things are.
Yeah. Okay, fun project to experiment with Adobe Fresco, creating a wallpaper for the iPad. And in my case, the brief was for kids aged 6 to 10, going wild and trying out brushes.
Yes.
You're like, I like this.
Yeah, totally.
This is beautiful.
These are fun. Obviously, they're very like rainbowy, colorful. So
you're like, I like this.
I like them.
Yeah. These are fun too. They're cute. Wallpapers for kids. Ah!
Oh, adorable.
I love this. It reminds me of Warm Fuzzies. Do you remember them?
No.
It's a thing. Actually, maybe my sister made it up. Never mind.
Oh. Either way,
I think my sister made that up. Never mind. These are so cute.
Very cute.
So
it's making me want to try Adobe Fresco because I don't think I've ever
know.
used it, but it looks
know.
really fun.
Fresco sounds super fun.
Yeah, I like seeing the screenshots with the apps
Stuff
on top.
Yeah, me too.
To give me a sense of what it would look like.
Yeah, and the scale.
Those are
That's
neat.
very cool. Nice. Okay. Let's see. Anything else in here? We can look at one more.
What are these jellyfish?
So, discovered Adobe Capture, not sure, never worked with it, and then decided to transform them into shapes and make scalable, imported straight into Photoshop library. Oh, so first with trees. And these are all from Photoshop Daily Creative Challenges. This is great. Using your skills. Nice. Whoa, look at that map. I like this. That's very cool.
I like the little illustrations in there.
I do too. Your process and showing your process is super fun. I think it's the most important thing when you're showing your skills. Exactly. This is great. Unicorn.
Unicorn cow.
Unicow.
Oh my god. I wonder what its
milk
is like.
Right?
Rainbow milk.
Totally rainbow milk. You're like, I love this. Tanya says she loves the challenges, so that's great. Oh, these are so cute. Yeah, super fun.
Really good job.
Great work, Tanya, and thank you for being brave and submitting your portfolio. It's always, something that everybody can be nervous about, so awesome job. We are going to look at our second portfolio, Ana Lucia Banol. So she's a graphic designer and illustrator at McCann, and she is in Cali, Colombia. So a little bit about her is exactly what I just said. It would be great if you put a little bit more about yourself. I think it's always helpful to tell people, what you're interested in, what some of your background is, and, be more robust about that so that if they've never met you before or if they're looking for you, they know more about you in this area. Let's see. All right, so where do you want to start?
I like this lady.
All right, girls.
These are cute.
Ooh, a little animation too. We love fashion, pero también nos amamos. All right, so I can't read Spanish, but I would say,
Spanish.
I'm bad at Spanish too, but these are really cute. I would say just in the effort to diversify your reader base, maybe putting it in both languages would be helpful so that if people are looking at you worldwide and aren't in Spain, then they can also understand what your work is. Because it's really cool and beautiful, but I'd love to know more about it.
But it's definitely cool to keep it bilingual, because if that's your first language,
totally bilingual for sure.
Yeah.
These are great.
Yeah, I love the color palette. It seems like that was the first thing I noticed when we saw her overall grid, was that everything tends to have a similar color sensibility, which I think is really strong.
Totally. Like this here with it being bilingual is really nice. We are the women we've been waiting for. I love that. So it would be great to have that and more of them, just so that everyone can read it when they see it, because it's beautiful. Fall in love with yourself.
Oh, cute.
I love this.
I also love that it's about women, celebrating women.
Yeah, totally. And this one guy.
Yeah.
Aw, I love the hug. These are so great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Me too.
You're a great illustrator.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Girls. Do, 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 do. Okay. What's next?
Maybe some typography. Because she's obviously a great illustrator. I'm curious about her typography skills.
Super. Thank you.
Yeah, these are cool.
Here and now. Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, someone special. I love the hands in this one.
Me too.
Reaching in.
Yeah, I think it's cool to see
Very cool.
your type illustration skills. I think you're a better illustrator, like in terms of like not typography, but it's cool to see that you have an interest in this. And this would be like an opportunity for you to continue to improve, because some of these, like, I can see your journey. Like this one actually is really, really cool. So yeah, it's cool to see like a range of styles and skills.
Totally,
you have,
I
like,
agree.
A lot of different ones.
Yeah. And what's nice about these is you can, I really like the color palettes that you're using. You seem to really have an eye for color and combination, which is nice. Nice job. All right, what's next?
Why don't you pick one?
I'm curious what this is. Ooh, ah, there we go. Osadia. Osadia.
Maybe some branding?
Yeah, it seems like it. It would be good to put some description for your work so that people know what you did, why you did it, and what it was for. It's always helpful. And it might be down at the bottom, so I might have just missed it. So we'll see once we get there. But the patterns are lovely. I don't know what Osadia is, but I would like to know, because then that would make me understand what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I really like branding that tells a story about like the company and its values and its place in the world. So knowing about the company and what it's trying to do is always a good way of like illuminating your decisions in terms of your design process.
Totally. I think, you know, in the description area, having a little bit more of a description for it would be helpful. And I can see down here it was branding, fashion, and graphic design. But even so, it would be nice to know what your role was on the project and what you created, if you did it all, if it was, you know, using an existing brand or if it was a self-initiated brand. It'd be good to know. Cool. I like these birds.
Yeah.
Let's see birds. Animals. Tropico.
That's cool. It's kind of kaleidoscopic.
Again with the colors. Nice combinations.
Yeah, you have a nice eye for color.
Ooh. Kaleidoscope sweatshirt. Pattern.
Cool patterns.
Little booklet or notebook. Moleskin. I like this toucan. Did you illustrate him? I'm assuming. It's very pretty.
A nice use of, I'm assuming these are brushes too.
Yeah.
I like the texture of the brushes. It's really nice.
Yeah, you can really start to see in here. It's super nice. And it gets super cool the more you get into it.
Totally.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's awesome.
That was one thing I really liked about Tanya's portfolio, was that she had process. So I think for you, that might be a good opportunity, is to add, there might be some process in here, but I'd love to see like your illustration process, because it's definitely very layered and nuanced. And
totally.
So being able to see that
does have a little bit more of a description, which is great. So I would say just, you know, continuing to do those descriptions on your other projects would be awesome. Nice. All right, well, I think that's like, we could probably do one more. Maybe we do one more. Let's just see what this Menta coffee is. Oh.
I like the typography.
Perfect, and you've got a description in there. That's awesome. I can't read it, but I know it's there. So it seems like it's mint coffee. I know that that's mint, so that's awesome. And you're starting to explore the process in your illustrations and show it in application, which is beautiful.
These are really nice.
I wonder what the ring is for.
Yeah, I don't know, but I like it.
I like it too, aesthetically. Like, we're just these, like, we like it. What is it for? We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the color combinations are very lovely.
Yeah, you have a great eye for color.
Beautiful. Coffee.
I know, I want coffee now.
I want coffee too, mint coffee too.
Well, those patterns are cool.
Yeah. My dear Columbia.
As a side note, I went to Columbia for the first time last year, and this year actually, and it was
too.
great.
I did too.
Went to Cartagena, and it was beautiful.
So did I.
Oh, cool.
Oh my gosh.
We'll have to compare notes later.
Yeah, totally. Well, amazing work. These were both beautiful portfolios. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Anna. It's always brave to submit, but I obviously will keep pushing you guys to submit more, because why not? You have some great creative like Ramzy here giving you some feedback live, and you get to show off your work on Adobe Live. So congratulations, you guys, and thank you. All right, so let's take a look back at what Ramzy's doing on his screen. We've got about 15 minutes, and yeah, we can kind of show a little bit of before. Maybe we go through your process of where you started, and
that's a great idea.
Yeah,
and maybe I can kind of
even showing the images that you chose from Adobe stock and what you guys what you chose specifically and why you chose it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I started with, I guess I didn't really change this image very much, but this image of a typical New York street, more about setting than the specific image, but I did was trying to match the lighting angle so everything felt like it belongs in the scene. And so I liked that this was slightly backlit and also kind of dark so that I knew that the colorful plume of smoke would pop in the scene. And then this was the manhole that we used, and again, if you compare these two, this is backlit, and so the fact that the lighting is coming from the same direction, it has like a similar quality to it as well. Like the sort of golden hour sort of vibe kind of helps for it to fit in the scene.
Totally.
And then this is the plume that we ended up going with. I might add some of the other ones in there, but I think, like I showed you guys when I was coloring, like the fact that it has all of this tonal range and depth helps to like really pick up that color layer that we put on top.
Make it seem more realistic and puffy and sherbet-like.
Totally. And when we cut it off here, like we don't have to worry so much about the angle because we're obviously looking up at it. But in the scene, it's, we're looking sort of more down. But once you composite everything together, I think it really does kind of start to feel like it all kind of comes together.
Yeah.
So the first step was getting all of the elements in the scene together. And I can kind of lightly group these just so we get a sense of how everything works.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm going to name this one my smoke plume.
Ooh, look at you layering and labeling and grouping. You're getting very fancy over here.
If I don't, I just get lost, and then I don't know what I'm
You're
doing.
You're like, this is my smoke plume.
Yeah. So we're going to turn her off for a second. And then this is the manhole, but I covered her up. So we positioned her in the scene so that we figured out where it would make sense for that to go, and then popped it off and moved it to the side. And then added this guy in there and added some
robust
color.
Steam popping off manhole covers everywhere in New York City. I love it.
Totally. This is my dream.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
Amazing.
And then we added some atmospheric light just to give it more sense of depth and reality. So you can see like the reflection of these colors in the smoke like definitely helps to make it feel like it's part of the scene. And then I feel like the only other thing I would experiment with would just be like the overall color balance of this background scene. And so like maybe it's nicer if it's a little colder and not as hot.
Ooh, yeah.
So I would just kind of play with, we're affecting the midtones now, but this kind of feels pretty neat. And then again, just sort of playing with these shadows.
Oh yeah, that starts to make it moody.
More moody, more like sort of noir kind of vibes.
It's the noir rainbow.
Yes.
Noir New York rainbow.
Yeah.
Ah, Sujan. It's like, OMG, this is so cool. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
That's it. It's like, no big deal.
Sometimes
made some cool rainbow stuff. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to work on tomorrow.
So I think tomorrow I'm going to be brave and try to do the iPad, Photoshop for iPad.
Ooh.
I have a project that I started
I'm really
already.
excited about that.
It's really cool, and I've been playing with it a lot since it came out, and I'm learning more about it. I'm not like a total pro in it, but I think
That's
just being honest about that is fine. I don't care.
Totally. I think it's fun, and I people really enjoy seeing the process and like looking through, the mistakes are important because mistakes are how we grow. Plus, when you're on Adobe Live, you get this amazing community that will then be like, here, we're going to tell you what your mistake is and we're going to help you fix it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of awesome.
For sure.
But I think I want to go back a little bit while we have, I think, about, a few more minutes left to talk a little bit about, why you're doing this process and why it's like all rainbow focused and what the bigger project is, because it's such a great story. And it's also really cool to hear, the fact that you've been working on it for like 4 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm non-binary, and so explaining a little bit about what that means, because sometimes it's a new term for people. And so that means that I don't feel at home defining myself in either gender 100%. So obviously I'm male presenting, but there is a lot about my personality that is female presenting as well. And so I think being in between is it's an opportunity, and I learn a lot about both, sort of being in between the two. But it really inspires my work. I love Pride, especially in New York. Pride is really fun.
Super fun. It's fun in Chicago and in San Francisco, too.
It's fun everywhere.
It really
Obviously,
is.
there's a lot of rainbows. And so my work is about continuing the legacy of Gilbert Baker, who designed the Pride flag in the 70s.
Amazing.
The Pride flag was an expression of the diversity within our community. Each stripe represented something specific, but overall, it's this beautiful expression of that we're all stronger together, and that the community, it's LGBTQIA+, and so there's a lot of us.
I like that.
But we all are fighting for the same rights, and also trying to defend people in the community who are most marginalized. So
and if you look at my screen, I have Ramzy's portfolio up on Behance, so hopefully you guys can follow him. But there's some amazingly beautiful work in here, and we didn't actually cover all of it earlier, so it's kind of fun to see a little bit more of this, especially like the cat.
Yeah, that's my cat Chicken.
No way! Your cat's name is Chicken?
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely. Super cool. So the details in here are just magnificent, and how you're bringing color into something that might not normally be colorful is really fun. It's all part of your unique process. Very detailed. And OCD.
Yes.
I love this. This is so great. Especially coming up on winter.
Yeah.
Whoa. This one looks real. Like, it could be real.
That one, it took a lot of time.
Oh, I can imagine.
In Morocco.
Yeah, and a cat.
And the tile work there is really cool in Morocco.
Super intense. Have you been?
My friend went, and she sent me that picture.
So cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love this too.
Some cacti.
Yeah, all of the details and the colors are just so unique and beautiful.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, Ramzy. This has been an exceptional first day, and we will be back tomorrow. So stick with us, and you have a daily creative challenge right after this. So nice work.
Great.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in.